Hey guys, today I want to talk about what I have in my lens kit along with a new acquisition I've acquired to finish this kit off. First, let's start with the unboxing. I would like to mention this now. I purchased this lens used off of eBay. I purchased a lot of my other lenses used too, and I will note which ones I have purchased new. Otherwise, take it as a default, all the other lenses were bought used. This definitely was a soda can box at one time that he folded up to ship this. I can see the rings from the can. I think he just kept wrapping it in cardboard over and over until he felt like he had a box made. I appreciate the overuse of bubble wrap. Like I said, I purchased most of my lenses used on eBay, and most of them will just come with like one layer of bubble wrap around it. And especially a lens of like a high quality like this, you definitely want it protected in shipment. So if you're shipping a lens, overkill on the bubble wrap, but get a real box. I don't know where this starts. Always cut away from you.
20 minutes later.
It's just dumb luck that I started cutting from the larger end. So I should be able to sneak it out. The thing is, he wrapped the actual lens in saran wrap, so it's really stuck to the bubble wrap. I didn't think this much of the video would be just me trying to get the lens out. Okay, so this lens is a Rokinon 35mm T1.5. I can see there's like tape residue or something on the lens cap. He probably had like a marker on there, but I think I can clean that up. Looks really gross. Comes with a lens hood, which is great because two of the lenses that I bought in the kit didn't. It's got your focus ring with the gears for cine lens and the iris back here. And then the moment I'm always waiting for whenever I buy one of these lenses is to see the actual quality of the glass itself. That's why you buy a nice lens like this. But it seems just a little dust on the front. I'm going to get a UV filter to protect this lens. You can debate me in the comments below whether you put UV lenses on your cinema glass. I know a lot of people don't because they want to keep the lens to the purest form. You're paying a lot of money for the glass. Why put a filter on it? But I'm also at a level where I'm working with younger filmmakers that don't need that kind of quality, and I'd rather have my lens protected. But yeah, looking through it and looking at the light, it seems like it's really good quality lens. The way I usually check is I use the light to reflect off of it, and I open the aperture up all the way, and then I will also play with the focusing just to like see that it all works. Both rings are very smooth. I was looking at a 35mm lens, but the aperture ring was a little stiff and it was missing one of its back screws, which I just didn't want to deal with. Would have been great savings, but I'd rather just get a quality piece of glass. So that is it for the new acquisition. If you couldn't guess by me unboxing this lens, you can guess what is in the rest of my lens kit. Right now I've built a Rokinon Cine Prime lens kit for the most part. I have a few other lenses that I will also talk about, but let's look into the kit now. So in this kit I just added the new 35mm lens. Originally I started off this lens series with an 85mm T1.5. That lens has been great and I've used it on almost every project I've shot. It is my personal favorite focal length as a DP right now, and I needed a longer focal length with a wider aperture for a project that I first started shooting on a more professional basis. Next is a lens you wouldn't quite expect, especially in the order that I purchased it. That lens is going to be the 16mm T2.2. I got this lens after borrowing my friend's on his Nikon camera, so I got the same thing in the Canon mount. And I liked using the wide focal length. It's really helpful in a lot of car shots or car mounts on the front of the car where you need to get both people in the shot and in focus. So I picked that up. The other thing that I like having this for is, weirdly enough, I shoot a lot of mock security cam footage, and 60 millimeters is the perfect focal length when you need to just throw the camera up in like the corner of the room and have it as a security camera. It gives you that nice wide angle that you typically see in like security camera footage. Next, I got the 50 millimeter T1.5. I just needed a good 50 millimeter lens that would have the cinema gears built into it. I had a bunch of other 50 millimeter lenses where I tried to add cinema gears, or the focus rings were really stiff and hard to focus with. So that's why I got a true cinema lens 50 millimeter to add to the kit. So that is basically the 4 lenses I have in my cinema kit: the 60 millimeter, the 35, the 50, and the 85 millimeter. All T1.5 except for the 60 millimeter, which is a T2.2. Next, I want to talk about some other lenses of high quality that I also use and love for different purposes. So the first lens I purchased of a higher quality was the Sigma 18-35 f1.8. This lens is what I used for a lot of these YouTube videos, not the ones where I'm talking to the camera per se though. This I use for like a lot of B-roll, and I use a lot in the like out in the world kind of videos where I want one good lens with decent specs. I like this because it does have a bit of a zoom. It is on the wide end, but I can push it to a 35 to get a bit tighter on my subjects. I also use this a lot with my Panasonic cameras. Currently I'm filming on the Panasonic AF100, and I also use the Panasonic G85. I use the Voltrox adapter from Canon EF to Micro Four Thirds. This one is a speed booster, so it changes the focal length a bit, but it also lets me talk to the camera. And I use this for like a lot of documentary things where I don't quite know what I am going to have. I don't want to be stuck with a prime, but I also want something that has a great f-stop. And this, with the adapter on my Panasonic cameras, will act like a 25 millimeter to a 50 millimeter, so a wide to kind of middle of the road focal length. This is one of 3 lenses I did buy new though. I felt like getting such an expensive lens, I should go for the new one where I have the warranty and I'm able to get it replaced or repaired if something should happen to it. So this brings me to the last lens I use a lot, and that is the Canon Nifty 50. I don't have it with me. I lend it to my mom and it's on her camera right now. But I use that when I need a lens that has decent autofocus in it and will talk to my Canon bodies. I use that lens a lot for headshots because it acts more like I believe a 65 millimeter lens on an APS-C body, and I needed a 50 millimeter lens that I can use autofocus with. It's very annoying to be trying to do headshots and manually focusing every shot with a cinema lens. I've tried that with my 85 millimeter lens before. The pictures when they were in focus were great, but 90% of the time they were just slightly out of focus, especially at a T1.5. So those are the lenses I use a lot in my cinema lens kit and a few other lenses of higher quality. I have a ton of other lenses that I'm also looking to sell a bunch of those and use for different kind of circumstances. I have a bunch of other lenses that I don't use as much and aren't of the best quality. But if you're interested in hearing about those, leave a comment below. Maybe I'll make another video about those. I might make another video about my vintage lenses that I've adapted to the Micro Four Thirds systems. But I hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it. If you liked it, please give it a like. It means a lot. Also, feel free to comment anything else about these lenses that you find interesting or would like to share with the community. Also, please consider subscribing. Thank you.